Welcome to another show of the Digital Pit Boss. We're going to talk about that old black magic. The Decepticons. Oh, we got a little show for you today. Let's get into it. Welcome to the welcomes. Now, I've been studying several videos. This is one of them. You just can't believe it, can you? This is one of them shows, man. Now, as you guys who've been following me have witnessed, Pit Boss don't get no love from the conscious community. The conscious community is a master of the doublespeak. Every time I get into this black magic, in order to illustrate for you the craftiness and what they do. And I have to give you a little breakdown of doublespeak because I really understand that doublespeak is very, very new to many of you, even though you watch my show. Some of you understanding it, I have to repeat this. So before we get deep into the magic of black people and others, because I'm going to bring you others. See, I have to contrast the information between what those who would publicly call themselves Satanists, such as the white folks, and then the black people who refuse to identify with it, but yet they say the same thing. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say what the black folks was doing was wrong had they took the information that the white folks brought, corrected the information, and then presented it in some correct form to bring it out of what is called black magic. But that's not what they do. The only thing the black folks do is take claim for being the inventors of it. They make the claim that all spiritual systems come from Africa. We are the inventors of spiritual systems. They make the claim that black people are the first people on the planet. Therefore, good and evil comes from Africa. This is Logic 101. So let me start this off by giving a breakdown of doublespeak. Doublespeak is a language. It is a language that pretends to communicate, but it really does not. It is a language that makes the evil seem good. It makes the negative things seem positive. It makes things that are unpleasant appear attractive. Things that don't taste good, they make it tolerable. Doublespeak is a language that avoids and shifts responsibility. It is a language that is at variance with its real or purported meaning. It does not agree with what it truly means. It is a language that conceals or prevents thought, rather than extending the thought. Double speak limits thought. Black magic is a laundry list of black double speak. So now, as I play the various audios, as I tear through this shit, we going all over the conscious community to get some sources. But then we gonna go to Africa. We gonna listen to the real deal. The people who performed black magic all the way down to human sacrifice. Somebody gotta die so that somebody can live. We're also gonna get it from the white folks. They have no problem explaining to you what their black magic is. I began the show with some African war drums to let you feel a little bit what it would feel like should you be standing in the middle of jungle in Africa and you hear these drums are beating. If you hear them drums, you better get to your spear because they already on the move. They on the move and they led by their gods. See, one of the things I noticed in particular is that the Satanists in blackface, once again, we talking about double speak. So they got to avoid the truth. So you never hear one of them identifying with Satanism. They'll tell you Satanism is a construct of the white man. Anything, they'll shift the responsibility off of themselves. This is what they will do. And because I've studied this stuff in various forms, and because I introduced to you the double speak, I didn't make it up. One of the famous authors of double speak himself was a Satanist. George Orwell wrote a famous book called 1984 in 64. He was an extension of Alice Bailey, one of the strongest Satanists I've seen, second to Aleister Crowley. These Satanists, they were some bad black magicians. So we're going to get into definitely the popular Sonetta Network. Oh, we're going to ride on over to the Rock Newman show. Also, Boyce Watkins is an atheist, black magician. Very subtle in their behavior. But you can tell based on the guests that come on their shows and who can and who can't, who is and who is not my baby. Gives you an indication when you know what you're looking at. Oh, we're going to deal with soul and we're going to deal with Professor Griff, Supernova Sloan, and Blue Pill, General Butt Naked in Africa. I'm digging in their shit. I understand I got to do this by myself. I understand I'm not about to get 10,000 views for this shit. We ain't even doing it for that. We're just doing it for that one little lonely soul. Damn near a vegan revolutionary. Thinking it's cool to rock the Ankh. Tattoo a pyramid on his neck. We're just doing it for that one dude, that one woman that just might find this video. Hopefully, I explain it thoroughly. I don't have the precious time that I would love to put into these things. I could make whole 2-hour documentaries on this stuff, as much information as I really have. I could take far more time than I'm taking to dissect it. But when you're working with the truth, you're not going to get that much support, because the vast majority don't want the truth, and this is why we live the lie. This is why. So I'd like to start off the show with the truth tellers of the black magic, the ones telling some truth about what it is that they do. And I'd like to listen to a breakdown of exactly what is the black magic and its theological principles. So y'all hang on in there for a little while and let's get this format laid down. If you are available and you have and you're just chilling wherever you are, and you can access a pen and a pad, take a few notes. If you could, identify the doublespeak. Let's become masters of identifying the doublespeak. I'm going to stop the recordings here and there as I play through them, since some say, speak on it, Pitt. Speak your speech. That I shall do. So here we go with an explanation of black magic by Satanists themselves.
As an ideology, black magic comprises a set of what are called first principles, which derive from the prerequisites of magic itself, namely individuality, meaning the sorcerer needs to exist to perform magic; freedom, the sorcerer needs to be unrestricted to perform magic; and power, the sorcerer needs actual strength to perform magic. Now, the ambition to maximize these three essential principles constitutes the central and first ethic of black magic, what we call ascent. Now, what is ascent? Ascent is the journey to godhood. What is godhood? Godhood is a grandiose term for the condition of maximum individuality, freedom, and power. So let's refer to religious mythology for a theoretical example. A god exists as an individual who possesses the freedom and power to know everything, to do anything, to be anywhere. A god basically possesses omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, what we call the three godlike powers. In the context of black magic, we attain these three godlike powers through the praxeology of divination, which leads to omniscience; evocation, which leads to omnipotence; and soul travel, which leads to omnipresence. It is for this specific reason that we titled our project Become a Living God. Because from inception, both EA and myself, we dedicated ourselves to the supreme aspiration of the left-hand path. You see, that title, Become a Living God, which has confused and perplexed so many people for the last several years that we've existed, it reflects the ethic of ascent. So far, we have clarified that the first ethic of black magic is, as I've said several times now, ascent. Now let's introduce you to the second ethic, which is called adversarialism, or what's known in the mainstream as Satanism. What is Satanism? In Hebrew, the word Satan means adversary. In the context of religion, the word adversary signifies the antagonist figure. Any character of mythology who defies and rebels against the protagonist figure, the tyrannical creator deity. So to answer succinctly, Satanism is adversarialism, and adversarialism is rebellion against tyranny. So to give the most concise definition that I possibly can, Satanism is self-defense. The Satanist says and affirms and vows, I am the authority of myself, and I revolt against any entity that claims authority over me, especially if they try to do so without my permission. For this reason, many Satanists are political anarchists and atheists, including myself. We denounce any claim that a state or religion or deity can control us. Now, the most cliched and predictable slander against the left-hand path is that we black magicians are just sociopathic terrorists who want nothing more than to sacrifice babies and skin cats and enslave humanity. Psychopathy, the ruthless aggression and violence against innocent people, explicitly violates the first principles of individuality, freedom, and power. As a black magician, if you strive for those principles yourself, you also strive for them for others, because first principles in philosophy are universal in nature. So anyone who commits terrorism is a psychopath, not a rational black magician of the left-hand path. To summarize, black magic is the philosophy of rational self-interest. It consists of 3 principles: individuality, freedom, and power. The first ethic of the left-hand path is to maximize these principles to ascend to godhood. A god possesses omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. So the praxeology of black magic is divination, evocation, and soul travel. The second ethic is Satanism, in order to defend against any entity who tries to impose authority over the black magician. Terrorists who inflict violence against innocent people violate the principles of the left-hand path and are psychopaths, not sorcerers. That concludes our introduction to the philosophy of black magic. Simple enough. I hope that it clarified the core tenets, principles, and dual ethics of the left-hand path. If you enjoyed my introduction to black magic,
let me stop it right there. So he said that black magic is the left-hand path. According to these definitions, we would have to classify the Christ, the anointed one of the Holy Scripture, as a white magician who sits at the right hand of God, where the black magician chose to take the left-hand path. This is the doublespeak. This is the slick, sly words they have developed to overcome the unconscious, to be woke. This is the conscious community. Now, the conscious community has popular channels, several. One of the popular channels, most popular, is called Black Magic 363, the left-hand path. The people who appear there call themselves Kemetics. They work with black magic. They have not redefined black magic differently than what you've just heard. This was an anarchist, Satanist. His breakdown was an adversary against any entity for self-defense. In this breakdown, he made himself God, where no God can rule over. The Bible is opposite this position. This is why it is not stolen information from the Satanist minds of Kemet. This is why Kemet was shut down, and no temple in Kemet exists today. Their system was carried on by white people, call themselves Americans, where they built the Washington, D.C. in the form of Kemet, with all the symbology of the left-hand path. All of our popular channels and popular speakers today, they are children of the talented 10th of the 1900s, early 1900s, 1910, 1909, the NAACP. These men have the mindset of W.E.B. Du Bois, the atheist, who connected with Margaret Sanger and gave you Planned Parenthood and the pill. They do not identify with the Christian Marcus Garvey and his nationalism for the upliftment of Black people's culture and economic system to survive in a capitalistic world. We're going to pry deeper than the black face of the Kemetics as they lie, trying to claim they are awoke. They are awoken to Satanism and refuse to identify with the name. Now remember that Satanism is an adversary of God. They have flipped it, double spoke it, put it into double speak, and became God. Now I broke down that a Christian is an Israelite and an Israelite is a Christian. Both follow the right-hand path of God, which is Christ. In doing so, you become an Israelite, because the salvation is only for Israelites, and an Israelite is only one who follows Christ. Therefore, the Hebrew Israelite perspective of the 1969 New York ISUPK and their fractions are all Satanists. They are Satanists because their information is opposite the Bible. The Bible never teaches hate the African. We'll get there later. This is Satanist show, not cracking open the Bible for this one. Maybe at the end. Now, as we pry into the mentality of a Satanist, an adversary, and we walk along this left-hand path, once again, pay very close attention to the doublespeak. Next up, we're going to hear some black Satanists from the Sinetta Network give you the sly slick of the tongue. Supernova Slim and blue pill.
Okay, so now when you talk about I'm inspired, spirituality, I'm inspired, right? Now you have to do work for the energy that you invoke. You have to now put that to an activity. Spirits, forces, energy in you, outside of you that is not giving orders makes you insane. So my ancestors are talking to me. Oh my gosh. But are you listening? Are you sitting into the conversation, and are you putting it to work? The noise will get louder and louder in you because you didn't woke up. You didn't woke up. You don't woke the spirit. Like they say, you invoke the spirit. So once you invoke the spirit, you don't give it orders. You don't say, okay. You know, then Kemetic, in the Kemetic salute will go, Nupu Heru, right? I am Heru. Anetarok Heru. Give praise to Heru that I am. Right? So you're saying that the force, the attribute, the divine attribute, the science, the principle of what we call Heru, the victorious one. I am the victorious one. Nupu Heru.
Okay, so what Supernova Slim is doing is he is identifying that he is God. This is exactly what the white man said. This is exactly what the white man said. Before there was a Dr. Ben, there was an Alice Bailey, a L. Ron Hubbard, a Margaret Sanger, an Aleister Crowley, many, many more. There was the Kemetic Order of the Golden Dawn. There was the entire Wicca. There was the entire Thelema operating in black magic. They said about all you could say. But they didn't have the black people fully convinced to switch up, create interfaith movements that could go against the Christian world. And oh, how these lonely souls were so eager to take on this throne. Let's finish up with Supernova Slum.
Okay? And Nejarak Heru, mean give praise to the victorious one. But once I say I am, I'm responsible for that which I'm giving praise to. And there's orders that I must give myself to put it to work. I must put Heru in work. I must put Shango Abatala. If you're into Krishna, if you're into Buddha, if you're into Christ, Christos, Yahshua, Yahweh, you have to put the force to work. So you say simple, I'm gonna daily put this force and I'm gonna say a prayer, a salute to my CMOS. And I take this CMOS and I'm giving an adoration and praise to the CMOS, and may the spirit that I'm invoking into the libation ritual, may it come back into me, and may the spirit I chant.
Okay, so we're gonna stop and pause for a double speak. He's invoking a spirit into a CMOS drink, and it is a ritual. What kind of ritual is it? Is it a left-hand path ritual? Is it a right-hand path ritual? See, the idea of the devil, the adversary, the Satanist, is to mimic God, to become corrupt, but give the appearance as though they make the evil sound good. This is the breakdown of doublespeak. This is why it is important that you obtain that book and master the understanding of doublespeak. Let's continue.
This elixir with charge my cells and my prostate. I'm giving orders to the liquid. It's not just aimlessly going into me. That's why the ritual of saying prayer before eating is an ancient universal practice, because you're saying you want the superfoods to work for you, right? So when I come up with my brothers, right, I'm here with you all. I'm giving praise to the Orisha, to the Interu, to God, the Almighty, the Spirit, the Force, the energy, whatever you want to identify with, for us come.
Here's another slick and the sly of the slithering tongue of supernova. The Orisha is a female energy god from the waters of Nigeria. And we're going to get to some real Nigerians in a minute. I'm going to let you hear from General Butt Naked. If you don't know who General Butt Naked is, he has an entire documentary called General Butt Naked, where he was a soldier not long ago. And he was performing black magic and human sacrifice. If you follow my dialogue, you'll understand that when white folks went into Africa to conquer it, one of the principles they took with them was the abolishment of human sacrifice among the Africans, as this was a practice so eloquently described by General Butt Naked in modern day. When he went to war, he went against all systems. He killed his own people by the thousands. And in the process, to get himself high enough to commit such heinous acts, he had to invoke the spirits. And he talks about it. And we're going to hear about it. But first, let's hear these weak black magicians of the delusional 125th Street integration is fake black Pan-Africanists speak.
In communion. And now we came together to commune, and now our work is putting back the reciprocity to the people, right? So when we have orders, when we have divine orders, and we're not moving idle, that's when we can activate the true power. To your question, Brother Rich, about how do we now not just be in a situation where we're outside of our power, but take back the power, cut off the indoctrination of the religious aspect, right? And get back to the spirituality aspect where you're held accountable to what you evoke. So if I'm evoking Orisha, I have to put Orisha to work, not cut 20 chickens and lay gaze every day and wear white and think that the Orisha is going to work for me. I am joint in the...
Now he just gave a Floridian slip of the tongue. And he just admitted that you got to put on that all white. You got to cut the heads off them chickens. But not just that. You also have to invoke it. This is black magic. Oh, it's sickening. It's sickening that you guys support that. Then you come over here to my channel and try to shut my shit down. I'm a one-man band and will beat the dog brakes off these niggas. They don't want to duel with Pit Boss. I put out an open call. Anybody who disagree with me, bring me on your platform. We can go for hours. You won't win 1 point. You won't be able to deny Alice Bailey's 10-point plan that you are not putting it into practice. You won't be able to deny it. We could do it on your platform where you got all the controls. You can mute me when you get ready. Overtalk me when necessary. You still won't win. But as you see, it wouldn't matter if I put out 500 videos, they will not respond. Why? Because Satan knows when he's beat. He knows where to drive forward and where to hit reverse. Let's finish up.
And I'm responsible with Orisha to manifest my work. I'm responsible with the Interu, the heavenly host, the almighty creator, to do the work. It's not a separation between church and state. See, that's what the conscience they had here. They want to separate you from church and state, right? Church meaning divine house, state means consciousness. See, this don't make sense in this thing. When they said church and state, they said separation between church and state. That means if your church and your state is temple and mind, it's separate. Now I can go to each of those realms and I can take you over. I can make a siege. I can make you your mind an enemy You say your state
to your temple.
To your temple.
Right, back.
Right?
That's
and,
what
so,
we're looking at.
and so you're worshiping outside your church. That's why your state is chaos. Right?
In the world of black magic, these are babies. These are babies. They have no power. They're actors on a YouTube channel. These are babies. They don't understand the depth of this stuff. They never really performed anything deep. But let's go a little further. Let's move off the babies. Let's get in a little bit deeper. Let's go over to Professor Griff and his new pretty girl, Soul. She's going to break down that she came from Christian Baptists, which is also under the control of Satanism. Most churches, 501c3 churches, are under the control of Satanism. And this is the church she grew up in. And this is why when Satanism came for her in the form of yoga, she had no defenses. Let's listen to her break it down.
I referred to you as a Renaissance woman. It talked about your doing Kung Fu. I don't know if it mentioned yoga or not, but as a Facebook friend, I see
and a real friend, because we go back.
Way back.
Before Facebook.
Way back. So you and my wife has that whole yoga thing in common. What has that journey been like, and how has it impacted your life?
The yoga journey, wow. I mean, I grew up in the church, so I grew up, you know, Southern Baptist, where everything was taboo, everything was the devil. You know, it was not okay. Don't seek knowledge because you might find it. So it felt oppressive, and so my journey, my spiritual journey, heavily involved yoga, that transformation, as well as then Kemetic spirituality and it's our African practices and things that called to me that I didn't go out seeking. They found me and ended up shaping who I am today. But today I was posting about, you know, a yoga post and talking about how we look at yoga as this physical practice, but it's not just a physical practice. I tell my students, because I do teach, so I'm a certified yoga teacher. And I teach them what yoga really is. And this yoga asana practice is not just a physical practice to keep you in shape. It's a spiritual practice. It is the practice of understanding the oneness of being. Yoga means to yoke to the divine, to yoke to everything and everyone that we're connected to, which is everything, the entire universe. Asana means seat, so it's our connection to the earth. So when you practice understanding that this is a spiritual practice, you know, it's not a religion, but it's a spiritual practice. And so it really shaped how I view the world, how I view people, and to have more compassion for people in general, just love and compassion for people in general. But it's been a beautiful journey that I've been able to share, especially through my classes. I was telling Griff, you know, even the last few weeks, every single class that I teach, somebody comes up out of Shavasana, that final relaxation pose, in tears. I've had students come in and hug me and cry and say, you know, I don't go to therapy anymore because of your class. You know, this is just a powerful practice when practiced with the right intention, not this westernized view that we have and cultural appropriation where people take other people's spirituality and turn it into something for profit, but then take away all the important pieces of it. And then it's all about what am I wearing to class and my new yoga outfit and how I'm gonna look cute. But I'm like, no, the physical benefits are just icing on a very nutritious, dense cake. You know, so it's definitely shaped my life and my children's, because I've been able to share with them and take them, you know, to India and spend time in ashrams and with, you know, with brahmacharyas and
See, yoga led her to India, so she can go to the Brahmin. This was not the information of the African American in Tuskegee building the modern world. But this was some of the practice integrated into the Asar Aset society in the integrated New York City. This is doublespeak once again. Now, religion is a construct. And we can all agree that religion is not spirituality. It is just a construct of rules set on some spiritual principles. But spirituality consists in the mind. It performs one of two things: black magic or white magic. If you're performing white magic, then the spirit that you invoke, you follow the spirit because the spirit is good. But if you're invoking black magic, you are the spirit. And that what you do is destructive. As you see, they all have this common theme. You never hear them say, oh, we got to destroy that Islam, because Islam does not agree with Christianity. You never hear them say, oh, we got to destroy that Moorish paradigm. Get up out of that. Because the Moorish paradigm in the Circle 7 does not agree with Christianity. Don't get uptight. Just invite me to your platform and I'll break it down for you. I'll shut you down. I'll show you why you all cultivate on Sinetta TV so happily together. Why it's that you never fight one another over spiritual principles, but somehow the Christian who is not invited to the platform is always under attack on the platform, as well as all the other platforms that they go to. Now, this woman's soul, she's dating Professor Griff. He got him a new one. Still Kemetic, still yoga, still light skin. He stay in the pocket with a pretty one. Old as he is, he keeps him young. Ain't nothing like that good old black magic. Get you a young one. Now, let's listen a little bit further. She's not very trained. Once again, we're looking at the babies of black magic. They don't have much power. But when I get ready to turn this notch up, we're going to get to the top dogs in black magic. Ones out here claiming to kill for black magic, sacrifice people for black magic. They all have the same common theme: destroy that Christianity. The white Satanist wants to destroy Christianity. The black Satanist wants to destroy Christianity. The Moors oppose Christianity. Islam opposes Christianity. The atheist opposes Christianity. The feminists oppose it. And they all agree to black magic. None identify with the title Satanist. Self-defense in the aspect of the adversary. They claim to be the adversary. The adversary to Christianity. This is a spiritual warfare of principalities. Now, Supernova Slim's comment about the separation between church and state was about the most ridiculous shit. It sounded good because black magic must sound convincing in order to get another soul. But the shit is ridiculous when you know what it is. See, the state is performing black magic. It's Supernova Slim and Soul, Blue Pill, Red Pill, Shaka, Sarah Suden Seti, Young Pharaoh having black magic out-of-body experiences. The Hebrew Israelites disagree with Christianity just as hard as the Kemetic does. Just as hard. Ridiculous perspectives of the Bible. Everyone is against the preterist view. The preterist view is a Christian claiming that the magnificent powers of God went down as he said it would. We have the breakdown of heaven and earth. You couldn't get this breakdown out of the 501c3 churches, out of the 501c3 camps, the 501c3 temples. They all work for the state. Ain't no separation. The only thing separate from the state is God. Now, we use the word God as a broad stroke as we describe the Most High, the highest level of meditation. Yoga is a form of meditation. It is just not the Most High form. Yoga does not have to be black magic. It could be a form of meditation. The problem is the mimicking of Christianity. The right-hand path is mimicked by the left-hand path. They obscure the meaning of yoga. They obscure the meaning of magic. This is the doublespeak they intend to do. I'll let a little more soul speak.
Learn like these ancient practices that are still very relevant today if you just apply them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My producer is a brilliant writer, and she communicated. I gave voice to it. That said that when your marriage to for R&B star Genuine ended, that you had an empty heart, and that you were it was filled by the man sitting next to you here. You guys have been.
Can I correct that real
Please
quick?
do. Please do.
I didn't have an empty heart.
Okay.
You know, breakups are never easy. It wasn't overnight. It was a long time coming, as most breakups are. And but my heart has always been filled and full with love, and the divine was always there. So I didn't have a mate at the time, but I would never say that my heart was empty.
Okay.
Just to word it differently. Yeah, I would never word it that way.
What I wanted to get to was,
see, when confronted with the truth, the devil will lie. She couldn't take the empty heart. When you don't have Christ in your heart, you're empty in your heart. But the trickery and the deception of black magic would make you to believe that your heart is filled with love when it is not. Now, Professor Griff goes on to speak a little bit in the video. He couldn't wait to talk about how the government had his picture up with the assassin in the Dallas shooting a while back. You know, we in the conscious community was dead on top of that. As he got to the Underground Railroad and made his way up to 125th Street, Sinetta, paranoid that the police was after him, that the white man was coming with the real Satanism. They got powerful demons among them. And without those demons, America, as you know it, would fall. It is temporary, the powers that they possess. Now, it's time to get a little deeper. The babies have spoken. It's time to get a little deeper. Let's get into General Butt Naked, a high-level wizard at the time, a general in the Army of Africa, Nigeria. Now he's a Christian, totally opposed to his black magic ways, but he's going to take you back. I hope you can understand his accent through the mic. But listen carefully as he tells you when he practiced real Nigerian black magic, that magic asked him to kill people. Let's check him out.
In my community, I started sacrificing my friends. Every month, this other person will die. When I hear the people cry, it pains me. And then the deity in Nigeria where will try to counsel me, will tell me, well, there is no need. This is my lifeline. I need to be brave. And what have you? Well, if I don't make those sacrifices, I should remember that I will die. So I started looking for other options. I started going to far communities. I would take something like a draft bull, go to a very far community to be able to collect my next prey every month, be able to mark my next prey, because there is no way you can have total control over a person spiritually if you do not have physical contact with them to study their spiritual continents. So I go to a place, make people laugh to be able to discern their spiritual continent, makes people angry to be able to get their spiritual continent, because this is one of the ways you can expose a person's spirit, by making them angry, by making them happy, by making them anxieties. That is why more militants are trained to control their anxieties, control their feelings, because once you are not able to hide your feelings, you cannot conceal your spirit. Well, that is how I started going far place. If I make the sacrifice every month, when the family cry, I don't hear it, so it did not mean anything to me. There was one particular sacrifice that I always love to emphasize when I'm giving my testimony. And it's about a very little girl who her parents used to take to church. Her mother took her to church. And I tried to sacrifice this girl 3 times. And it failed. I brought him different sacrifice. The deity refused. He said he wanted that very little girl. And now, ask him, how? Because I have tried 3 times and I failed. He said, go and establish physical contact with her by giving her a gift. I went to give the girl a gift. She was drawing water on the well, and she told me her parents said she should not receive money from strangers, and her Sunday school teacher said she should not receive money from strangers. Well, I went back and said it did not work. He said, go and give it to her mother. I went to her house, and the mother was plotting her with her friends. So I gave the mother 25 cents. Mother said, and what am I doing with my son? Because at that time I was also young, a child. She said, I'm not doing anything. And I pretended like I was just playing. Started scratching my head and say, oh, when your daughter get big and I get big, I want her to be my wife so that her direct. It was the funniest thing she ever heard. She started laughing. 2 of her friends who were plotting her with her said, look at what this little boy is saying. And they all started laughing. Oh, eat the money. He want woman. At that time, the little girl was walking in. She just pointed to the guy and said, "Oh, mommy, this is your husband. This guy has just paid your dowry." And that was all I wanted. I returned and invoked her spirit in the night. She still wanted to prove to us, if you can, because you are legally mine. Your mother has given you to me. When her spirit saw it and gave up, that is how she was sacrificed. I always advise people, even all those shrines, all those chants, I think we're performing, we're taking our heart, do all kinds of things, send people to the grave to take the bones of the dead. The power in those things were the words that will be coded. That is why it is a risky thing for anyone to speak carelessly. Even in the church, we have power to declare positive things, yet we speak negative things. The whole world is like the devil angels on the left hand and God's angels on the right hand. The devil angel waits to hear you speak negative things to perfect it, and God angel waits to hear you say positive things and perfect it. From days that I know that the word of every person is very powerful, except they are speaking carelessly in the environment that there is no one who have the interest of making use of their negative statements. Few years later, the tribe started facing a lot of attacks. We started setting up other members of the PRC. That is, the PRC are the group who joined with Doe to overthrow Togo. Few of them from other tribes, we started faking them up, lying on them that they wanted to overthrow, using it to kill them as we edge foul with our plans by bringing in most of our tribal men. And that was what the politicians did to get to us. They now use this against us, and many of the tribes in Liberia started turning against us. 1988, Doe wanted to be re-elected, but most of the tribe were not friendly with him, because one of the things I did when I came to power as the priest, I used Doe to stop most of those other courts from different tribes that were functioning. The Poor and the Silent Society is very popular in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast. But we stopped it from functioning openly, so we suppressed them. The Masada craft, we also suppressed them from functioning. So it was obvious that he was not the people's choice, because the Poor Society are in majority. The Masada craft are the educated people. So when the Poor Society from different tribes, all different tribes came together, it was a clear evidence that he was not popular. So for him to win the next election is a clear proof or clear indication that he must rig the election. So his politicians advised him to have a pretending relationship with these tribes by taking his birthday to different tribes. Well, the heads of the Poro rejected. The tribes that were heading the Poro is from Bon County, Lofa County. Those two counties put together to say they can never be friends with somebody who don't believe what they believe in. He said, well, I will live up the bound. They said, if you live up the bound, you have to prove it to us by joining us, because every president will give them an honorable position. So he went to a village called Kwetanwele, where the Poor Society started from in Liberia. And he joined and gave him an honorable position called Tanu. And this was what they used. Projected to Prince Johnson, gave Prince Johnson the code to be brave to enter the barrack. After we had fought, after the war started, we fought for about 3 months, killing ourselves. Prince Johnson was brave after the 6-7 month, rather, to walk in the barrack and requesting for friendship, for partnership. We who asked have spiritual eyes refused. But it was strange that Prince Johnson, Yomi Johnson, who was one of the strong fighter against the tribe, walking in the barrack. So he interested President Doe to listen to him. When President Doe listened to him, he now explained to President Doe that the Poro Society, the heads of the Poro, have sent him to join the Doe and fight Charles Taylor because the Poro is a native tribe or native court. The Gias, where we come from, is a native court, but the Masonic tribe, where Charles Taylor comes from, is a foreign court.
Okay, so what he's explaining is that this enemy, this adversary that he's fighting for 3 or 4 months, 6 months, one of the bravest men of their tribe, who was a native, walks into their barracks. This had to be strange, unbelievable. You can kill him now. But he wants peace. He wants to unite, to fight against what he called a Masonic group who was a foreigner to the area. General Butt Naked's story is amazing. He actually went to people whom he chopped their hands and limbs off after the war was over, after he had given his life to Christ, made a reformation. Now, what do you think he would think if these American Orishas, these American Kemetics, was to come to his land talking that fake black magic they learned in America about his land? That Orisha rivers, those 9 rivers reside in his land. He killed people on them rivers for those gods. And what would you think if he seen these little babies, these little baby black Satanists walking up like they really with the business? He couldn't do nothing but laugh and tell them, give your life over to Jesus. You're a fool. Before I go on, let me educate why the Hebrew Israelite is a fraud. This is Deuteronomy 23, verse 7. And it says, now this is speaking to the Israelites. It says, do not despise the Edomite, for the Edomites are related to you. Now, the fraudulent Hebrew Israelites say that the Edomite is the white man. But the Bible says that the Edomite is related to the Israelite at the time, the Hebrew Israelites. The reason the Bible is saying they're related is because Jacob and Esau were twin brothers from the same parents, making them blood related. And if the white man is Edom and Tazariach is a Hebrew Israelite, the Bible says you two are related. This is the false narrative of the CIA construct called the Hebrew Israelites. This is why they sit so comfortably on the pagan Sinetta network. Let me show you how. I had to use a little intelligence when I went to Sinetta's network. He said to me, what will you speak about, Digital? Hey, Digital, what do you want to speak about? Send me the title. I thought to myself, what? I get to send the title? Oh, shit. So I named the show Digital Pit Boss Drops the Thunderbolt, Alice Bailey. Now, because he's not that educated, he just thought I was coming up with a cool title. But I was sending a signal to the Satanists to let them know that I know. See, the thunderbolt is really the lightning bolt. And the lightning bolt is a symbol of the Satanists. So by me saying I'm going to drop the lightning bolt, it was another way to say, let me drop the Satanist, Alice Bailey. She's the thunderbolt. If he listening, he probably going to change that title. Maybe he don't give a shit and he'll leave it there. Either way, it was funny to me because I knew he didn't know. Let's go on to read. It says, do not despise the Edomite, for the Edomites are related to you. And do not despise the Egyptian, because you resided as foreigners in their country. And the third generation of children born to them may enter the assembly of God. See, this is why the purity that they claim to have is foolishness with God. They were the light of the world at the time. They interbred, married in to the Edomites and the Egyptians. And the result was a mulatto. And 3 generations later, God would allow them into the assembly. And so therefore, the Bible is letting you know that the assembly of God had Edomite and Egyptian blood running all through their veins. This went for both female Hebrew and male Hebrew. Both were committing these acts. So don't say, but they had the father, the blood is about the father, because the women did it also. And 3 generations later, that Egyptian Hebrew woman, that Egyptian male Hebrew woman child was allowed into the assembly of God. The Bible says so. Deny it if you want. Y'all do. But I just keep on pumping with the real. Now, let's get deep. Let's go all the way to Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house. And we're going to get with a man who had a long 25-year history of Santeria, black magic. And by his own words, he killed people for the devil. Oh, when he speaks, he's way deeper than these babies on Sinetta Network. Sinetta, this man is located in Brooklyn. I would love for you to go get an interview from him. I'd love for you to put Jabari against him. Professor Smalls against him. Leonard Jeffries against him. His name is John Ramirez. He about to let you have a leather.
I have to keep you away from the plan of God, no matter what, at any cost.
You keep saying you. So when you say that to me, I'm understanding you to mean that when you were in Satan's army, I'm just say it like it is.
No, absolutely.
You would actually take on the role of a soldier for the devil.
Yes.
To do what in the spirit realm?
In other words, to do witchcraft, to do tarot card readings, to do spells, to kind of like that, to their neighborhood, so the cross won't reach their neighborhood. So the people in their neighborhood will know that it was a spirit of poverty, a spirit of prostitution, drugs. I feed that spirit in the neighborhood to control that neighborhood, so the cross of Jesus Christ will not come into that neighborhood. If you're a believer, to make you believe that the Christ you serve wasn't real, he was a fantasy. The cross is a fantasy. The cross is a figure of the imagination. I was very good at that. I had like a PhD doing that.
Wow.
And then after that, I discredit the cross, because I have to discredit the cross, because if I can discredit the cross, you had nowhere to run to.
Sure.
So you were vulnerable. You're in the middle of nowhere. So now I can come and attack. It's like a lion. He chased the hurdle. He goes after the weakest prey. And then he attacked me, focus on the weakest prey, so he brings us down. So I have to separate you from the cross. So I'm able to separate you from the cross and make it a figure of imagination. I knew that there was gateways and portals that you were open because you were struggling. So I would hold on to that and then bring you down. While I was sitting in the church, I would go to church as a demon man and sit in the church and break the unity of the church, and break the unity of the spirit going on, so people won't get saved.
Wow. What was your goal? What was the game? What was the end game?
Move up the ranks as a devil worshiper. Move up the ranks, make my daddy proud.
Did you
fulfill my assignment?
Did you actually see things you couldn't explain take place?
I would sit with the devil like I'm sitting with you today. I would talk to the devil all night long. He would manifest in human form. He would come into my house. The presence would change. The atmosphere would change. The room would change. The presence was there. I saw my soul to the devil. I got the marks in my body here. I got the marks here. I got the marks here. I got the pentagram carved into my flesh. So I would sit with the devil all night long and speak to the devil, because the devil wanted fellowship.
Now, John, you can appreciate that's hard to believe. I'm not questioning you. I'm saying that people watching right now are saying, wait a minute, I see that in movies, but this doesn't happen in real life.
Right.
How do we respond to that? I mean, you really saw the devil.
Yeah, absolutely. Sat with him, sat with demon, principality. There's two worlds. There's the kingdom of darkness, there's the kingdom of heaven. There's people that seen angels. There's people that had encounter with Christ. So if you can see that, then there's a devil.
Sure.
There's an opposite.
Right. If you can't just believe part of the Bible.
Exactly.
You can't believe in miracles and not expect to see them. You can't believe
Exactly.
in that Jesus raised from the dead.
Right.
And not believe in that kind of real supernatural world is what you're describing. Right. And you saw it.
I saw it. I lived there for 25 years. I mean, you can't, Jesus talked more about demons, cast out more demons.
Wasn't that a third of his ministry?
Exactly.
Why do we not see more of that today?
Because the church is preaching people happy. They're not preaching people free.
Say that again.
The church is preaching people happy, but they're not preaching people free. Christians are coming in bondage, in shackles, and strongholds, and generational curses in the pastors. And no disrespect to anyone, ministry, because I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. I'm on the side. I'm on the right side, but I can't preach you free. But I'm preaching you happy.
Right.
You know, it's like a sugar rush. I'm giving you a sugar rush, but I'm not really. You're not being healed. You're not being delivered. You're not being set free.
Right. Well, there's a place for that. I mean, I would agree. There's a place for that kind of ministry, but equally, there's a place for someone to be able to speak into a circumstance with real experience, who has experienced, lived, been deep in the demonic world, and can say to someone that is just trying to live happy, it's not a matter of state of mind. It's not a matter of just feeling happy. You've got some gateways in your life that you've got to shut.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to do some spiritual surgery, if you will,
exactly,
to get them out of the ditch that they're in. That's what you're describing.
Right.
And that's your ministry.
And that's my ministry.
That's
my ministry is to come to set the captives free. People have to know that there's a devil to fight. There's demons to cast out. There's a world of darkness that we're in a battle for souls.
Sure.
Who's going to win souls? Jesus going to win more souls, or the devil is?
It's really what it's all about.
Exactly.
You know, it is a battle for souls.
So spiritual warfare is needed. I mean, the Bible says it's clear. I mean, when I read the Bible, it comes so much to life. It said the kingdom of the light. I should project. I used to leave my body home, and I should project and go to different neighborhoods and put curses in the neighborhood, because whatever you can curse in the spirit is able to come out of the natural. And the only neighborhood that I was not able to curse was a Christian that were praying for the neighborhoods. They had a circle of unity, praying for the neighborhoods, and they used to chase me out to prayer.
Wow.
With one accord, one unity, praying in the spirit, casting out demons, healing the sick. People need to see the power of God against the power of darkness.
And I would submit that most people watching have never really experienced the power of God.
Oh.
They never.
Okay, now I'm going to skip up in the video because he really get busy breaking down. He was a part of Santeria for 25 years. And he really understands the symbology of what they do. So I want to skip up in the video where he's going to take you to a store in Brooklyn. He's going to describe the graffiti on the wall. Let me let you in to the doors of Santeria.
The demon with him, and it wasn't even me anymore. So I was going to drag him into my apartment and stab him in the neck because I had a cordon pop with weighed about 100 pounds plus, and I had like 9 machetes in it, and I had knives in it that I used to kill the roosters with. But when I went to grab this guy, I wanted to bring him to my apartment, he just went off my hands and just disappeared. He went down the story. I mean, this guy was like an Olympic athlete. He just gone, and I couldn't grab him and kill him. So I was very disappointed that I couldn't kill my poor human being. This is the one I was telling you about that is in my book.
Hold on, I think I'm gonna try to show it to you because what he's saying is not that loud, and so I'm gonna risk my channel and I'll play this shit. You can't hear him well, but you will see the graffiti as he points out. And now my Wi-Fi don't run real smooth whenever I play videos, so I hope it pauses just enough so you can get a glimpse at what he's pointing at.
This is the one I was telling you about that is in my book.
All right, let me stop it real quick. So he says, and that's the one over there that runs the principalities over Islam. He's pointing to this particular demon, and this one that is in the picture is the one that is over Haiti. Let's go back a little bit since I can speak on him. So he says, look at the demon that runs the gates of hell. Look like Big Pun. Mind you, he's in Brooklyn, one of the most satanic cities in America. You see the beads, the Santeria beads, the red and black, the red and black, the red and black. This is what you see when you see James Smalls. He's a Santerian Haiti priest. Also, when you see Jahid Isa, he's also a priest trying to fake us with the Bible. He's a juju priest. He told me himself. This is the demonicness of this Kemetic Hebrew Israelite attack Christianity worship services that they perform on a daily basis.
This is the one I was telling you about that is in my book. Look at this. The truth.
Now I want to stop it real quick to let you know that the cross symbol has absolutely nothing to do with the Bible. I can take you down the Celtic cults who had a cross. I could take you back to the walls of Kemetic, where they have engraved a cross. I can take you to the Catholics of the Byzantine Empire, where they brought in their Celtic cross. Though the Bible refers to Christ as the cross, remember the Bible says, make no graven image of the things in heaven. And a graven cross would be a graven image. This is why you know that the physical manifestation of a cross is not biblical. Let's move on a little bit.
Isn't that funny? Let's set 2 free. Ain't this a joke? They put it up there. But people can get.
Okay, now he points up to the pentagram pointing upward on a white background, representing white magic.
They part of this.
What is this place?
This is a Montana. This is a place that they get everyone in the Bronx come here to find the ingredients to do witchcraft, to hurt people, kill people. This is the place.
Oh, I'm sorry, they in the Bronx.
You go inside. Come on. If I tell you I was going to kill you in 30 days, you prepare your funeral, you was going to die in 30 days. I don't care who you were, I don't care who you knew, I don't care what you call yourself. If you were Catholic and you said you were Christian and you said you were a believer, I was going to kill you. Unless you had a real relationship with Jesus Christ. And the lady that lived.
Okay, now here, he's inside that building, and he's going to show you these statues that they create. And he's going to let you know that the way that the Santeria works is that these statues have to be made in human form so that the demonic spirits can enter the statues and they can communicate with this image.
With demonic forces, and they get put into the occult. This is easy to attract, but the Native Americans. But there's a statue that the people that use camouflage the demonic ways and demonic ways. There's nothing here that is holy. There's nothing here. The only thing that's holy here is us standing here.
What happens in this place? Like what?
Here in the back, they do witchcraft, they do voodoo, they do witch spells in the back, with curtains in the back. All these demons, they want you to buy these statues so you can take a demon home. So like the prayers. So they make you believe that you pray to God. Look, see, I used to use this for selective prayers. They make you think that you're praying to God, but these prayers are not God. They're not godly prayers. Nothing in the Bible. It says nothing about the Bible, the crucifixion. We had a book in New York, in America. I was the third person to get this book that has symbols of the book, of different demons, of different principles.
Okay, so John Ramirez has lots of videos where he goes even deeper into his demonic breakdowns during his 25-year experience of black magic. Oh, I see that the demons have showed up. I've got a remarkable 25 downlikes on this video. See, that's letting me know that I'm putting in that work. So I encourage those that understand where I'm coming from with it. You got to support this, because who else is bringing it? Who else is bad enough to smash their ass with this reel while they constantly deny me from the platform to smash them against their own fans? But I understand that those that go against what I'm pushing, they got to do what they got to do. So somebody then alerted them, Pitt going in. Go over there and take the demonic spirit to his channel and down like his videos. That's podcast. If I drop the link right now, you niggas run. And remember, these is black folks. I ain't got a bunch of white people on my channel, I promise you. They might view something, but they don't chime in if they are watching. They don't send me emails. Only the black people do. Tom Rahm says, General Butt Naked seems like a fraud. He converted to Christianity to avoid being executed. Well, I agree with you that he converted, and maybe through his conversion, he wasn't executed. But do you say he was a fraud when he was pulling hearts out of men? Do you say he was a fraud when he was killing them people? Do you think that was a fraud? Now, the man is telling you what power he used to do those heinous acts. Now, the question is this, Tom Robb. If he's a fraud, does he still kill the people? Is he still pulling the hearts, doing human sacrifices? Now, like I said, y'all don't support the platform for me to dissect this 1000%. You got to just get the message and take from it what you will. But I understand your perspective, because you want to see him killed for what he did while he was performing the black magic. I understand. And now you feel that since he ran to Christianity as a cover-up, you got to understand he was a general in a war. This is going to make every soldier alive a fraud who kills in war. War is ugly. But the point of the matter that seems to fly over your head is that he's letting you know that the power he received to commit his heinous acts was black magic. As he described to you, the little girl, he sacrificed the woman. He tried several times to get her over to where his power could control her. Now, we're not justifying what he done. We're showing what real black magic looks like, and you can't see it. You worried about if his conversion is protected by Christianity, knowing you're not a Christian. I don't know what you are. I don't even know what you look like. But I understand your perspective, because it's hard to take the truth. You can't understand. We're pointing out the difference between the fake baby black magicians and the real ones committing the acts. When is they going to commit the acts? These Kemetics. Where do you perform the human sacrifices? In the dark? We know you perform animal sacrifices, because the white man ain't going to come get you for that. He killing animals too. But if he catch your black ass in a basement in Brooklyn, killing people, you might not get like General Butt Naked. See, for General Butt Naked, his crimes, not all of them, but the ones he speak on, were performed at a time of war. People were dying anyway. But he wasn't just killing. He was performing rituals. I ain't never got so many down likes. See, I know that ain't 27 people. I know it's just dumbass Sarah Aha with 18 accounts with his dragon horns as his profile picture. General G-Check will be home soon. Sarah Aha. There's probably a few more. They hate for Pitt to do this shit. But they ain't gonna say a goddamn thing to me. I promise you that. I promise you that. They can be mad all you want, but you ain't gonna open up your goddamn mouth. I bet you I won't see my name in one of your videos, because if I do, I'm gonna know you're listening and I'm gonna drill this shit out your ass. I'm gonna go find every video you ever uploaded and I'm gonna dissect your ass to a frog on a table in the middle of junior high school. I'm gonna pull your liver out, your heart out, your intestines out, and I'm gonna spread it out on the goddamn table and show you the dissected frog. You're dealing with the real when you come over here. So hate on, haters. I do it anyway. Not giving a damn. Now, let's go back and let's reinsert the principles of Satanism for those of you who chimed in late. Let's go ahead and end the show, breaking it down all over again. Let the white man speak.
As an ideology, black magic comprises a set of what are called first principles, which derive from the prerequisites of magic itself, namely individuality, meaning the sorcerer needs to exist to perform magic; freedom, the sorcerer needs to be unrestricted to perform magic; and power, the sorcerer needs actual strength to perform magic. Now, the ambition to maximize these three essential principles constitutes the central and first ethic of black magic, what we call ascent. Now, what is ascent? Ascent is the journey to godhood. What is godhood? Godhood is a grandiose term for the condition of maximum individuality, freedom, and power. So let's refer to religious mythology for a theoretical example. A god exists as an individual who possesses the freedom and power to know everything, to do anything, to be anywhere. A god basically possesses omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence, what we call the three godlike powers. In the context of black magic, we attain these three godlike powers through the praxeology of divination, which leads to omniscience; evocation, which leads to omnipotence; and soul travel, which leads to omnipresence. It is for this specific reason that we titled our project Become a Living God. Because from inception, both EA and myself, we dedicated ourselves to the supreme aspiration of the left-hand path. You see, that title, Become a Living God, which has confused and perplexed for the last several years that we've existed, it reflects the ethic of ascent. So far, we have clarified that the first ethic of black magic is, as I've said several times now, ascent. Now let's introduce you to the second ethic, which is called adversarialism, or what's known in the mainstream as Satanism. What is Satanism? In Hebrew, the word Satan means adversary. In the context of religion, the word adversary signifies the antagonist figure. Any character of mythology who defies and rebels against the protagonist figure, the tyrannical creator deity. So to answer succinctly, Satanism is adversarialism, and adversarialism is rebellion against tyranny. So to give the most concise definition that I possibly can, Satanism is self-defense. A Satanist says and affirms and vows, I am the authority of myself, and I revolt against any entity that claims authority over me, especially if they try to do so without my permission. For this reason, many Satanists are political anarchists and atheists, including myself. We denounce any claim that a state or religion or deity can control us. Now, the most cliched and predictable slander against the left-hand path is that we black magicians are just sociopathic terrorists who want nothing more than to sacrifice babies and skin cats and enslave humanity. Psychopathy, the ruthless aggression and violence against innocent people, explicitly violates the first principles of individuality, freedom, and power. As a black magician, if you strive for those principles yourself, you also strive for them for others, because first principles in philosophy are universal in nature. So anyone who commits terrorism is a psychopath, not a rational black magician of the left-hand path. To summarize, black magic is the philosophy of rational self-interest. It consists of three principles: individuality, freedom, and power. The first ethic of the left-hand path is to maximize these principles to ascend to godhood. A god possesses omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. So the praxeology of black magic is divination, evocation, and soul travel. The second ethic is Satanism, in order to defend against any entity whose authority over the black magician. Terrorists who inflict violence against innocent people violate the principles of the left-hand path and are psychopaths, not sorcerers. That concludes our introduction to the philosophy of black magic. Simple enough.
Now, you can't get around that, Satanists. You don't have a breakdown better. You can't reconstitute the truth. I enjoy this Black Magic series. I have a part 1 and a part 2. And this is part 3. And we're going to do part 4. Not necessarily next, but we'll get around to it. We don't like to give this too much energy all at the same time. Now, I would really like to buy the Aviator Squad cameras. It's a $2,000 kit. I know what y'all saying. Since I got the Satanists listening in, hey Satanists, why don't you hit my PayPal, 99lightyears, gmail.com. Drop me a couple $100 in there so I can go get this equipment. I know you want to do it. Do some good with your black Satanist ass. Do some good with yourself. In the meantime and in between time, y'all are not going to get around this shit. Pit Boss brought you into the goddamn game. We know who you are. We know what you're up to. We're going to expose you. The war is coming. It's going to take place in your mind. You have to ask yourself, Are you a Satanist? Are you a black magician? Do you enjoy Black Magic 363? Young Pharaoh, Sarah, Suit and Seti, Sarnetta, the Hebrew is what in the hell are you on? You're gonna have to ask yourself, partner. Digital Pit Boss. Kind of lonely over here at the top of the reel. So if you find a kind moment in your spirit, jump in my description box and hit that PayPal. I want to level up the game on them. In the meantime, be good or be good at it.